What's going on, my friends? Chris here. I want to bring you all an update today of the stock market, and then we're also going to get into cryptocurrency as well. Just going to make it really quick with the stock market, and then we'll dig into Bitcoin and small coins. And the reason I want to do this, guys, is because we're so correlated. You have to look at what's going on in the stock market to determine what potentially could happen with Bitcoin, because Bitcoin could have an amazing setup, and if the stock market tanks, the bigger money tanks, then it's going to pull down cryptocurrency with it as well. So it's just something that you got to keep an eye on, guys, and that's why I'm going to bring it to you today. So if you get something from this, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you want me to keep throwing in the stock market in the beginning, just put stocks down low, and I'll get back to the comments as soon as possible. So what we're looking at here, guys, when we're taking a look at the S&P 500, it's really important to keep an eye on the S&P 500. I like to look at the Dow, and I like to look at QQQ in terms of the stock market. But when we're taking a look at this here, guys, we've been in a prolonged downtrend for quite a while now. I mean, all this started in 2022. What you can see is we had a high of 479, and then we had a lower high of that 462. And I know a lot of people really think we could potentially get a bounce out of this area here, but what I would be looking for if we do get a bounce out of here is potentially just another lower high. So you can see I have an alert right up here. Potentially we come down, then we try to go back up and test some of these areas. But until we get through this downtrend line here, we're going to be in a downtrend. And if we throw on our moving averages as well, what this is going to show you right here is that we're trading below our 7 EMA right now, we're below our 30, we're below our 50, and we're below our 200. So we have all those acting as overhead resistance right now, and that's what we have to be careful of. If you're trying to play a bounce down here, you're playing counter trend. So just realize that, because there's going to be some bears who are scouting. If we get a nice push up into here and extend some of the RSI levels, they're going to be looking for that lower high to potentially jump back in and short it again. So just something that you want to keep an eye on when we're taking a look at these levels. Now, if we step back, what you can almost see here, guys, is that we potentially could be in a descending triangle. So I know it's not exactly a flat base, but we're just putting it down here at $410. It's going to be the main area that I want to see, because that's where we had really high volume and we had a reversal out of this original downtrend here. You can see we went to our low, high of the bounce, higher low, higher high, and then we rolled over and we've given it back. So that's going to be an area that I'm paying attention to as well to see if we can hold. If we can't hold that, we're going to be looking down to about $391. And another thing I want to point out here, guys, just taking a look at this, how this has been a sideways, down and sideways market. If you take a look, even from the CVID crash back in this area here, for the most part, we were trading up above this 200 moving average this entire time. We even had a big gap in between it. We were so strong. And now we have that acting as overhead resistance. So the market has changed, and we have to be aware of that. We just can't beat our heads up against the wall trying to go long and go long when the trend has been down. Okay, if you're playing a quick reaction, that's something different. But for me, I want to wait for a little bit more confirmation before I start going long to the upside here. So that's going to be SPY, guys. Next one I want to get into here was QQQ. Same deal for QQQ. We're trading below our 7 EMA, our 30, our 50, our 200. We're in this downtrend right here. And we would actually have to get up through $371 to set a new high there, breaking out of this trend line. So that would be important for us. But right now we're just trying to fight at support here around that $317 to $318, and that's where we're sitting right now. So if the buyers are going to come in, this is the spot they need to come in right here. If not, what we'd potentially scout is that lower high. If we get up into this area, maybe 343 on a relief bounce, there potentially could be some bears waiting there for another leg to the downside. So there's a lot of proving to do here from the bulls. And for me, guys, I'm just going to be patient like we talked about in this space right now, because I don't want to fight to the long side. And right now I don't really feel comfortable going short with us how far we've been pressed down and into support. I would like to see a really nice bounce if I was going to consider that, see some overextended RSI levels, and then potentially jump in with a stop loss or a buy stop overhead. But for me right now, just patiently waiting, just watching the markets. So next what I want to do is get into Bitcoin. If you guys are here for Bitcoin, Ethereum, all that, just let me know down low, and also let me know what you got going on today and how you're playing this market. Are you accumulating for longer term positions? Are you patiently waiting in this space right now? I would love to hear your take. So right now, guys, according to the VPVR, this is the area that we should get a bounce from, or that we need to defend, and that's going to be right around that $39,000. If we do drop lower, we're going to take a look at about $34,322 was our previous pivot right down in this range that we'd want to hold. But if we're zooming into this, guys, it's still kind of the same deal. We're trading below right now. We're getting a little bit of a bounce, but we're still trading below our 7 EMA here. We're below our 50, we're below our 30, and we're below our 200. So what I like to do is step back and say, okay, let's turn off our moving averages. If we do an inverse, how would we be feeling about this right now? Okay, so we'd be looking at this trend line, wanting to continue to hold the uptrend here as we go and approach some of these higher levels here. Okay, and you could even throw a fib on this, just like this, and we could go up. And typically what you want to hold for something to be a bull or bear flag is at 0.382. So this still potentially, guys, if we flip it back over like that, we have to be careful that this is just not some bear flag that's taking place. And we've talked about it, you know, it might be a little bit too long to be a bear flag, but you know, guys, we could even say it's an ascending channel and we still potentially could get a breakout to the downside from that. So just be aware of that. If we throw on our fib here, right here, you can see we've made it up to about that 0.382. If you push higher, guys, and you get into that 0.5, that 0.618, it negates the chance of a bear flag much more. But that 0.382, that still puts it on the table, because we have not had enough bounce, essentially. So Bitcoin really needs to get going, but it's going to be determined on the stock market here, guys. And if we do bounce, really look at overhead resistance about that $42,000 is what we're going to be looking at. So in my opinion, guys, be safe out there. Next, Ethereum. We take a look at Ethereum here. Guys, ETH has been just a little bit stronger. So right now we've been challenging our 7 EMA, and that's going to be in yellow, but still trading below all of our moving averages, trading below our 200 moving average, and that's going to be up at roughly about 3,471. I'd like us to get up above that, guys, and turn it into support. I know that we're just moving sideways here, so moving averages aren't as significant when we're moving sideways, but they can still act as overhead resistance or support, and we don't want to be trading below that 200 moving average if we're bullish. If we step back for Bitcoin, guys, mostly whenever we have these nice bull runs, we are up above this 200-day moving average. So the fact that we're below it, we have to be aware of that. Okay, so stepping back here, I would like to see Ethereum hold. If we do drop to the downside, about $2,600 is going to be the area I'd look to see if we could get a bounce off of, and then be down to around that $2,400. To the upside, we need to get over top of $3,000, and we need to turn that into support. So that's going to be Ethereum, guys. Next one, ADA. Take a look here. So with ADA, same deal, guys, trading below all of our moving averages. We need to get over top of this 7. You can see the last move that we had, we stayed up above this 7 moving average, so that's definitely an important one to take or keep an eye on in the shorter term. In terms of support, we need to hold roughly about 80 cents is going to be an area I don't want to break much down below. Below that, it's going to be down to around 75 cents. In terms of overhead resistance, we're looking about 94 cents. And then be up to around that 105 to 110, and then that big area of 120. That's been a big area for us, guys, since we broke out of this falling wedge here. But what I would like to see is a little bit more volume coming out of this falling wedge. We really didn't get a ton right now, so we're trying to find support, see if we can start working our way back to the upside there for ADA. So watch those. And then, guys, let's see here. We'll take a look at Litecoin. So main areas to hold for Litecoin, what we're going to be looking at is going to be right around $96. Is going to be an area if we move to the downside. In terms of the upside here, we need to get roughly over top of about 105 is going to be the area that I'm looking at. Still trading below all of our moving averages, so just be aware of that. We need to break out of this downtrend line right in this range here. So that's what I'm going to have time to get into today, guys. Hope this helps you. Be safe out there. God bless you all.